But that seems like way too much planning for our group. That's a little better. There goes the guy who thinks I'm not participating with the speed profile. And there goes another one. So I don't know whether to go off now into the parties at London Square. I know you remember Chris Yupa. I don't know if you remember, we wound up being entrusted with the London Square social calendar, so that we actually became their party givers. And at one such party, Chris Yupa consumed so much beer, undoubtedly outside the presence of his Cruella de Vil girlfriend, whatever her name was. And Chris, as in his words, threw up a little bit in the pool. It was a burp. It was just a little bit of a burp. And it just one of those things. Now, you remember Yupa was a guy we called Bondage. Not sure how much I should go into on that. It wound up just being called Bondo. Probably a private episode to finish that out. But in any event, London Square became a place where Suzanne Stavanoa endeared herself to our friendship. I don't remember why. She was fun to be with. You may remember the name Dyke Boone Neeren. I don't know where Dyke Boone Neeren came from, but he fell in love with Kyle Cockerham, who was then my roommate. Kyle and I lived on an exterior, all of the walls on our apartment, except for one, were exterior walls. Dyke Boone Neeren had about a 1972 Cutlass. And it had maybe a 75, but it had fins, vertical fins on the front bumper. Dyke Boone Neeren got so drunk, he began ramming his car repeatedly, putting in reverse, hitting a building again, putting in reverse, ramming his car into our apartment building in an effort to wake Kyle to get him to get in that car and go drinking. Kyle! He would scream. I don't know how we made it out alive. This particular stretch of road, while it brought us memories of Suzanne Stavanoa, Dyke Boone Neeren, and at least the beginning of recollections of the London Square Apartments, is saved for you and I. Because if it wasn't the same all-college party where we met Suzanne Stavanoa, it was a all-college party just like that one. And we were in a blue and white 1973 Firebird, affectionately known as Felix. And inside that Firebird, by the way, was a little green plastic figurine named Forrester Frank. I still have Forrester Frank. He sits in my passenger car this day. 42 years after I first found him in that Firebird. But according to legend, none of which I actually recall, little of which, alright, some of it. Somewhere on what was then the most deserted 30 miles of roadway in the state of Texas, I was at the wheel of the Firebird. Not surprising because I owned it. Betty owned it, actually. God love her. And I don't know how fast I was going. I don't know if... I know I was steering for a little while. But according to legend, I sort of lost focus on that part of things. And that's where you stepped in. Reaching over with your generous left arm and grabbing the wheel and keeping us centered on what was then a 2-lane road, which you can now see, if you can stand and look at this screen, is a 3-lane section of roadway. These bridges and overpasses are new. The current viewer should not be confused as to how little was here. Everything you see in this picture that is above the road surface and is not from God was not here. And so somewhere, maybe right here in Buddha, I stopped steering and Joe took the wheel. And according to legend, every once in a while when my speed got a little below the Maginot line, it'd give me a little bump. Tell me to hit the gas a little bit. And it was in this manner that we drove the longest 30 miles then at that time, the longest 30 miles in the state of Texas, that stretch between San Marcos and Austin. Now there came a time we had to exit. And what the heck was the name of that road with all the apartments on it? I remember Stastny, Old Torf, Ben White, Riverside. Old Torf, then Riverside. Somewhere, I'm guessing around Old Torf, maybe getting closer to Riverside, Joe gave me the final nudge and said, Steve, you better wake up and take it from here. And again, according to legend, I remarked, good Lord, Joe, I don't mean to scare you, but I don't remember a thing in the last 30 minutes. And so I cannot drive on this section of road without that memory. Wish I remembered more of the details. But such is my burden. A little bit longer just to let folks see what happened here. This intersection that we're about to see, maybe you can see it through the jingling. That's my index finger. All of this was a big fat nothing. That right there was the only thing that existed. That was then called the 222 truck stop because we are at milepost 222. Nothing else. You'd pass that and think, probably never going to go there, and I never did. And then you'd make the rest of this drive. That's the 222. Austin is at milepost 235. There's exit for 223. Now, none of this stuff, all of this in your TV screen, not the bugs. Those are states where bugs used to be living. Travis County line, 223. Now there's a second freeway that goes around Austin in case you want to go 100 miles an hour. Probably should have held the phone like this the whole time. That's way easier to look at. Now up ahead I have plans for a couple more videos. Problem is it's 7:39 at night, 7:40, and I've been working all stinking day. So these are future episodes. There's a bridge up here. Well, first there's going to be a KOA camp and then a bridge. And a little bit north of that is a grassy knoll. I remember more of that story, though it's longer to tell. So much happened on that evening. That is the rest of the drive. All of these street lights not present. Good Lord, should I just take you through the whole damn thing? Pretty much run out of things to say. Now when I drive along the road, I remember occasionally car accidents that I have worked on in an area. And for the longest time I would tell the story. And then Leslie let me know they're not that good a story. Probably like this one, now that I'm telling it. But that's what happened. So in this area, not a car wreck story, but somewhere around here is a, oh my God, what am I thinking? Slaughter Lane. All right, I'm just gonna keep right. I'm gonna forge right ahead. I got two right here. So right here, South Congress Avenue, there's a Walmart. Now, maybe over there somewhere, there's an Ashley Furniture, but that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Somewhere over there's a Walmart. So I was in Austin to give a speech to the Texas trial lawyers. Why they chose me, I don't know, but well, I packed up real good. I had a suit, tie, shirt, belt, socks, slacks, no shoes. 20 minutes before my speech, I am in my stocking feet. And I decide that there's a Walmart right there, Joe. I decide I have enough time to drive down to that Walmart, 8 o'clock in the morning, Austin traffic. I did not leave one speed law unbroken. And I bought about a $9 pair of shoes. Here's William Canyon and Stastny. That's important. At the minute, as I opened the door, the lawyer who asked me to give the speech, not seeing me in the room, decided he had no choice but to introduce me to the crowd and hope that I show up. And the minute he said my name, I opened the door. And I held my one foot up in the air and I told everybody, I'm sorry I'm late. I had to go to Walmart and buy this pair of shoes. Now, it's a good story to me. But again, one of those probably Leslie would say, that's probably just reflect on that one personally. Keep that one yourself. Stastny Lane, Joseph. Somehow, through the work of angels or devils who went unrevealed for a period of time, you and Richard Prynne lived on Stastny Lane in a house, I believe, with David Ross, question mark? In any event, there was a party. I believe, Joe, it was around Christmas time. I know it was, actually. And I believe it was your birthday party. You and Richard Prynne, and, well, as it so happens, Jesus Christ, all three born before the year 1960. Making each of you older than me by a certain measure. And that certain Christmas party, you lived in this house with what had to be one of the finest backyards in the history of Travis County. A long, sweeping valley. And your music may be hosted by Pat Cahill, blaring over the valley. And a Christmas party for the ages. I know for a fact that there was significant mistletoe placement, importantly placed, and successfully placed. And I wish there were more of us here to recall the details of what went on that party. but it lives in infamy. Old Torf, Woodland, didn't give you that one, Riverside. Details of that party again, the ones that I can remember, definitely best left for a personal visit. But it's one of the, for certain, one of those evenings that will never be forgotten. Although I feel like I'm forgetting it even now. So again, another intersection. None of this stuff was here. There's an airport out there now to the right. Wasn't that? It used to be an Air Force base. You're getting into some things here in South Austin that existed. The road, it didn't look anything like this. Old Torf. Used to be one of those short jump off the road. Felt like you jumped off a cliff exiting right there. Pretty good job steering this time. And simultaneously working the pedals. All right, half mile to Riverside. I'm guessing this is about where the bump happened, where Joe gave me the nudge. To my memory, this road looked about like this. I don't know if this has changed much. See if I can do this without hitting anybody. Stage 1, stage 2, success. There's the Riverside exit. Somewhere in here I took the wheel. And somewhere in here said, Joe, I don't want to make you nervous, but I don't remember the last 30 minutes of my life. And we exited right there. In the distance you see a green signal, 2 green lights. Took a right there. Drove to London Square or Riverside Apartments, one or the other, I don't know. And survived. Turn off the camera, y'all. Okay, we got a problem.